My name is Gina, and I'm the provost here at TSTC-Harlingen. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit, for those of you who, and some of you may be a little more familiar with TSTC and the programs that we offer and what we do there, and some may not be as familiar. So I just wanted to tell you what's going on at TSTC-Harlingen, give some context before you go out and tour some of our programs. I'm super excited for you all to be able to do that. But I wanted to start with this and just really delivering on our promise is really the focus of what TSTC is all about right now. And really envisioning for the next 5-10 years down the line. And so it's our promise to students, to employers, and to industry. And so when we think about higher ed, right, where a lot of times we're thinking about what is that promise, right, of higher ed, and who are we making the promise to? And so at TSTC, one thing that makes it real clear for us is we are governed by, like what we do is really governed by Texas Education Code. So there's a chapter in Texas Education Code that governs what TSTC is supposed to be doing and drives what we do. And it really involves us being and fulfilling a mission of ensuring that we provide a skilled workforce to ensure a prosperous Texas. That is really what the Texas Education Code says. We value our students. We love on our students. We want to give them the best skills and competencies to achieve possible. But really what's in that Texas Education Code is our commitment to our industry partners and providing a skilled workforce for them so that we have a prosperous Texas. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of context about that. Those are just at a glance. Our customer is really our industry partner. We mainly offer certificates and associate awards. That's primarily what we do. However, when we meet with industry partners, someone can come to us and say, this is really what we want. This is really what we need. Sometimes it is one of the programs that we offer, and we're able to funnel students through there to produce that workforce that an industry partner needs. Sometimes it's really working with our accelerated or workforce training loops and saying, okay, can we combine, can we customize something that is really needed to upskill some of the workforce that's already out there? Or is this maybe not even a certificate? Maybe it's not even an award. It's just a short-term customized plan, right, that is needed. So we can do a lot of custom and accelerated training depending on what the needs and the asks of our industry partners are. So it's just about coming to the table and having those conversations. Although we do have the academic core, and we do have a couple of associate science degrees in biology, physics, engineering. Transfer is really not our focus. However, we do have some partners that our students feed into or matriculate into 4-year colleges. We're not like other community colleges. We don't levy property taxes, so we don't get funded based on property taxes. We are a state-funded agency. I'll put a tiny plug in here for Proposition 1, just to inform you about it, that is on the ballot right now, and it's really to create an endowment. For TSTC, we have 11 locations throughout the state and 2 more that are in the pipeline. However, we're kind of trying to put a pause on additional locations and really trying to grow what we have. When you go on the tour today, you'll see some of our newer facilities. However, we have buildings that have been here for 40, 50 years. And so really trying to make sure that those buildings are taken care of and that the equipment our students need to make sure that they're training on what is new and what is coming. That's really what that endowment is for. It's really to make sure to prepare our students for the workforce that they're going to ensure into. We are funded by placement. So we aren't funded on enrollment. We're really funded on placement of our students. So our students getting a job, our students getting a high-wage job, that is how we are funded. We are a market leader in most of our sectors and within the programs that we offer. And then the last thing I'm going to say is about TSTC kind of at a glance is starting this last fall, all of our technical programs have a money-back guarantee. So what that means is if a student goes through one of our technical programs and they complete the required components of that program, if they do not receive a job offer within 6 months of graduation, then they are eligible to receive money back from their tuition into that program. So when I say that, when I know everybody asked me to talk about what we're doing on the curriculum side to align it to what our industry partners are asking for, I wanted to end with this on a slide because, for us, and I'm going to use the word obsession, but that's really what it is. We get really obsessed about ensuring that the curriculum that we're providing to our students is strategically and directly aligned with what our industry wants, right? Because if we don't do that, then our students aren't going to be getting jobs and then we're not being successful at what we're doing, right? And so we've really done some work in the last 3 years to be strategic about this so that we can make sure our students are ready and that I'm sorry, I don't know why this got all crazy, but anyway, these are our programs that we offer, but really making sure that our curriculum is aligned to what our industry partners are asking for. So throughout the state, I mentioned we have 11 locations. There's 48 programs that TSTC offers statewide. Harlingen offerings are up here. They range from healthcare. I was really happy to hear up here at the front, manufacturing and construction, because those are big on the TSTC campus. I did want to highlight, I think they kind of went to the bottom down here and they're not showing. We do have mechatronics, which is one of our programs, but just to let you know what's coming, that one is going to be transformed by an all into an advanced manufacturing award. And so there's going to be industrial manufacturing, robotics, and in the future semiconductor. That one's at one of our other locations that's really big because semiconductors are really big in that area, but that is the other arm to advanced manufacturing, which will be beginning here next fall. And then the other program that will be starting here next fall is electrical construction. Okay, so that will really help to round out, we've got building construction, HVA, plumbing, and then electrical construction will help to really round out those offerings. So really whenever we're trying to do this alignment and think about I mentioned, really being intentional about our curriculum and aligning it to A Street was really taking a step back, right? And saying, okay, what is it that our students want? What is it our employers want? And what is it the industry wants? And so those are all the things that we have to take into account, right? I mean, our employers are saying, these are the skills that we need. Where am I going to get my workforce from? And then when we talk to industry partners, right, the bigger picture, right, this is what we're seeing coming down 5, 10, 15 years from now, right? And then we really want to make sure to provide a good student experience, right? What are they getting? Are we able to provide them hands-on experience? Are we able to provide them a great learning experience, great faculty? We want to make sure more and more of our students are becoming savvy about what they're paying for, right? And so they want to know that whatever they're paying for, and they're going to be able to walk away with something that's going to be useful for them. And so these are all the things that we take into account. And so they really shape what we call retooling. And retooling was really a process that we probably undertook at TSTC a couple of years ago to take a step back and say, let's look at the product we are producing and making sure that it is aligning to what the students, the employers, and the industry needs. And so really that has driven all of our product design, our delivery, and what we call the innovation line. So our product design is really, what are we creating? It's our curriculum. What are we putting out there? Product delivery is how we're delivering it. Are we bringing in first-class faculty? Are we making sure that how we're delivering it, the students are able to actually interact with the equipment they might be working with so they're ready job one or day one when they go out into the job? And then our production line is all the processes that now we put into place, right? And so I can really say, when I go back to where we were, and I've been a part of this probably at the TSTC for about 17 years now, and 11 locations, we were pretty fragmented. All the different colleges in the different locations were kind of doing something different. And the way that we were functioning and working with our advisory committees, our industry partners, was all kind of disjointed. Everybody was doing kind of their own thing. And so really coming together to the table and saying, how are we really addressing our mission if that is what in fact what we're doing, was really a big question. And so all of this was kind of siloed. The advisory committees were happening, but they were happening like this because it was a check the box. And in order for us to be accredited, we have to submit that. And we weren't really bringing folks to the table who were really giving us good feedback and saying, this is what your students really need to know and what they need to learn. And this is what the expectations are. And this is what's coming, right? So it was really to kind of look at that and say, how can we do this better? We took a look at curriculum statewide. Some of our programs like welding, we offer at every single location. Everybody's kind of doing something different, right? And in some cases, there is something that is unique about the location that we do need to address. But in most cases, the competencies, the skills that the students need to learn, those should be universal across the board, right? And so why weren't we coming to the table before then to really talk about, are we looking at the same curriculum? And the student transfers from Waco to Harlingen, are they going to be receiving that same instruction, right? And vice versa. And so it was really coming to the table to talk about that and bringing our program leadership together across the state and working with their industry partners to do that. So we really made an intentional shift to do this. And so what I'm just showing you here is what we moved to, is really bringing together all of our campuses from all the different entities to talk about what makes them unique, what makes the employers in that area unique. What is it about industry partners that they're looking for across the board? How can you make sure to address all of that? And I'm not getting into the nitty gritty too much here under industry partners, but I did want to put something up here just to show you how intentional and strategic we are, to where we have a group of facilitators that really mediates conversations between the leadership of our programs, for all of our programs, with our industry partners and employers and our faculty, and sits down and says, here's a list. Let's generate a list of all the skills that are needed. The skills, and then I think earlier someone mentioned mastery, right? And certifications, and making sure that if someone's going to go out there and be in the workforce, they are certified and they have achieved mastery level knowledge. So they really sit down and say, what are the skills and what do I expect as an employer? What do I expect as an industry partner that the students that are coming out of TSTC have mastered? They haven't just heard about it, they're able to master that skill, right? They come up with this list of knowledge, skills, abilities. And this is just like this little abilities results evaluation here on the side. It's just a snapshot, right, of 3. When they've sat down, industry has ranked it, our faculty in Waco ranked it, our faculty in Harlingen are ranking it. This is a program that's offered in Waco and in Harlingen. And on this one, you can see there might be some discrepancies, right, about what faculty feel is important versus what industry thinks is important, and maybe even about some location discrepancies, right? And so when we see those are really important items that then we come back to the table and say, okay, maybe there's just, we need to talk, right? What is it that maybe the faculty feels important, but maybe it's because we're not having great conversations with our industry partners about what we need to be doing. And we need to revise our curriculum so that we can make sure that we are teaching our students what industry is expecting them to know. And so these are all tools that we put into place so that it's not just an every year, once a year advisory committee meeting. These are ongoing conversations where we look at these lists, analyze the lists, add in more skills, add in the new competencies that are expected from our industry partners and our employers, right? And say, okay, let's make sure that everybody is on the same page so that what we're doing in the classroom and what the students are being assessed on and what we're making sure that they can master, they are leaving well prepared for that. And so it is an intentional sit-down conversation about this multiple times in a relationship building that happens. And I bring this up and I pride ourselves on it because we have about 3,000 industry partners throughout the state of Texas, right? That our program leadership is meeting with and making sure that our students are ready to go out into the workforce and be a part of these different companies and employer groups. And so a lot of this is driven through industry research. I think was mentioned earlier, looking at, we look at alumni placement data, look at industry trends, look at and the different job trends that are coming out. And so all of that feeds into the skills that then we look at and analyze. And really our advisory committees now, that's kind of the last step. That's kind of like the stamp or the seal, right? That comes back and says, okay, yes, we know you've been through this process. These are the curriculum changes that you're going to be making. And this is what the students are going to be learning. And so what we get in the end is really a co-created product for our students that was really developed not just with a faculty member in Waco saying, this is what I want to teach, or a faculty member at Harlingen or West Texas saying, this is what I want to teach, because I think it's important, because I really like that. But it's really co-created by the industry partner and by the program leadership and by the faculty saying, we are creating this because this is really what we know the students need in order for them to be successful, for TSTC to be successful, and for the state to be successful. And then I'm also talking about instructional delivering. So taking that product and how we deliver it in the labs. You'll see this when you go on the tours. A lot of what we talk about with our industry partners is, do we need to have the students train on the John Deere equipment that they're going to go over on? Do they need to train on the diesel equipment that they're going to be working on? Is it beneficial for us to bring in that equipment for them to get that hands-on training? So that's the next piece, that's really making sure that we have the faculty that are going to be able to provide the training, that they've got experience in the workforce, and that we have the appropriate equipment for that. Good. And then when we talk about how we get the students to their job, right? There's numerous ways that, in addition to teaching them in the classroom and in our labs, is really connecting them with industry partners. So some of you here may have been a part of some of these types of events. Just a couple weeks ago, we're doing job fairs. We do interview practicums to get the students ready, offer employer spotlights. So if we've got employers who say, hey, we really want, we need with some of your students to come out and be part of our workforce, is offering employer spotlights for them to come in and talk about what they do, just to make sure that our students get to hear about that. And then program events. So just a couple pictures here. He's for the industry days. And then a program event up here at the top. Line Worker had an event. AEP came out. They were here. They got to see the students climbing poles. So they get to see their skills, and they get to meet the students. The students get to meet them and talk to them about opportunities. So it's really about creating and being that bridge between student and industry, so that when you walk the graduation stage, for the most part, most of them are not just getting that diploma, right? But they also already have a job lined up and ready for them. And so for us, like I mentioned, really being quite the placement, is really looking at our production and accountability. Really what we focus on is making sure that it's not really what's happening so much in the classroom, but what's happening after. Are our students ready? And are we providing our industry and our employers what they need? So hopefully what you'll get to see a little bit of today is some of the implementations we've made in some of our newer spaces, right? And how we're preparing students in those areas. I think you're doing our new biomed, right? So thank you again to EDC, because they help to provide funding for renovation of the space that our biomed and our planning facility is in now. And so we'll get to look at that. And I think you're doing building construction. Yes. And so in that space is where I mentioned electrical construction will also be starting next year. So I think we'll have a couple of TSTC folks out there. If y'all have any questions, or y'all are interested, or you want to be a part of being an industry partner, being part of a job fair, interview practice, or employer spotlight, anything like that, please just reach out to me, or reach out to any one of us here that's from TSTC. We would be happy to help you, and we welcome y'all to our campus. We'd love to show it off. So just let us know. We'd be happy to have you on our campus. Thank you.